Hi guys, this is going to be a bechamel or white sauce. So I'm going to put a medium-sized saucepan over medium heat. I have 6 tablespoons of butter that I'm putting in the pan. And we're going to melt that. When we get that melted, we're going to add almost this whole half cup. We'll see if we want the whole half cup. We're going to make what we call a white roux, and a white roux takes on no color. So it's a combination of fat and flour. We're going to cook it to cook out the flour taste, but we don't want to add color like dark roux or for jambalaya, things like that. This will be a nice white roux for to make our bechamel custard sauce for the moussaka. So we're just going to wait for that to melt. That'll take about a minute. Why don't we pause? Okay, we've got our butter foaming a little bit, so we're going to sprinkle in most all that flour. I'm just reserving maybe a tablespoon to see if we're going to need it. And then just stir, stir, stir. I'm just over medium heat. We're stirring that flour in, and what this does is it gives the flour a chance to plump up and absorb the butter. Then it gets surrounded by the butter, and it becomes this beautiful thing that's going to help us thicken our sauce. So just keep stirring at this point, because what you don't want to do is burn it or for it to take on color. I'm actually lowering the heat a little bit because we want to give it a chance to cook out that floury flavor, because you don't want it to taste like raw flour. And in the meantime, I have 4 cups of whole milk on the other burner that I heated up and scalded. So I didn't boil it, but I mean, I brought it to temp where it had a little bit of bubbling going on. And I'm gonna turn that off right now, because once we get this looking pretty good, we just cook it for about a minute or 2, just enough to keep it from burning. So that's the reason. Just don't walk away. Gotta stir, stir, stir. And we do not want it to darken. A blonde roux, a white roux, whichever way you want to call this. And I don't think we're going to need, maybe a little more flour. I'm going to put in that last teaspoonful, which means I got to cook it another minute or so. But that's okay. We'll make sure it's nice and cooked. Yeah, that's more the consistency you want. Okay. And we're going to take some of that hot milk and pour it right in the pan. A little scum there. That's okay. And I'm gonna bring this back up to medium heat where you can see how it's thickening. And you're gonna keep stirring. Pour the rest of that milk in. And and stir. Use a whisk. That's gonna get you your best effect. You want to get all the lumps out, make sure that all that roux cooks in the sauce. So this we are going to bring to a boil, because anything you use to thicken, cornstarch, flour, it does its best thickening when it comes to a boil. That looks good. Now we're just going to wait for it to come back to a boil. Let it cook for at least 1 minute at a boil. Again, you don't want to burn the milk to the bottom of the pan, so it's important to stay with the sauce and just keep continually whisking. I can feel this coming together. So that was 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter and a half cup all-purpose flour. 4 cups whole milk. If you're looking for white sauce, this is basically how you do it. Then you can add flavorings of any kind that you want. You could take this and make it into a cheese sauce. You could make it, we're gonna do a little nutmeg. And we're gonna make this, thicken it with eggs as well and flavor it with eggs. So what we're gonna do next, once this comes up to a boil and boils for a minute, we are going to add some egg yolks. And I have 2 egg yolks in a bowl that I have gone ahead and just beaten with a fork. So we are gonna do what's called tempering by temperature. So because if you put all the egg yolks in there, you'd have scrambled eggs. So we're gonna take a little bit of this milk sauce and we're gonna add it to the egg yolks, just a tiny bit. Whip that in. It kind of gets the egg yolks used to the idea of joining a very hot liquid. And then once that's done, we can add that back into this sauce and you won't have scrambled eggs. And this is now coming to a boil. You can see it's at the boil. So you're gonna be sure to keep stirring. Stir for 1 minute at a boil. You don't wanna So we've cooked that for a minute. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this sauce and add it to the eggs. And whisk, 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 whisk in. So we are tempering by temperature, getting the eggs used to being in that hot, hot liquid. And once we do that, we put all that right back in our sauce. Go back to whisking. So we're going to cook these egg yolks for maybe 1-2 more minutes. Going to give it a little color, a little richness, some protein. Now, take it off the heat. It's going to be a beautiful sauce. So now we're going to just kiss it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to put in a touch of nutmeg. Just grate that in fresh. Just a few hits of nutmeg there. Stir that in. And that is going to be our flavored white sauce for our eggplant dish. All right.